Hello, guys. Welcome to another DW live show. This is show number 33. Hey, Dom, how are you?
I am very well. How are you, Neil?
Yeah, I'm all good. It's sun shining. We've had the maddest weather here today. It's been absolutely lashing down. And then all of a sudden, we've got pure blue sunshine.
Yeah, it's just mental in general, I think, at the moment. Crazy.
I know. Crackers. Anyway, on with the show. We've got a busy one today. We've got Jack Saward from Saward Marketing and Events on the show. Really delighted to have Jack on. I've only known Jack for about a month or so, but we get on really well, and Jack's got a really good, positive outlook. And we were just, we were chatting a few weeks ago, and I said I'd love to get you on the show. And so this, it was kind of like a throwaway line, a conversation between Jack and myself about the title for it. And it's called The Importance of a Good Phone Book, but the sentiment behind it is excellent, really, because it's all about staying in communication with people, why you shouldn't go quiet during this period and stuff like that. So, yeah, really exciting show. I'm looking forward to it, Dom, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. Sorry, I was giggling because I just saw a couple of comments about the music, because it always seems to get a comment at the moment. Mandeep said we've got the boogie music now too, and Tom said I love this music. I'm playing it along to a movie I just edited, and it suddenly got twice as good. Nice to see you all here, Tom and Mandeep.
yeah, we're going to say hello in a bit. But as usual, we're live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitter. We're actually trying to build up all our social media platforms. So, Dom, I'm not sure if you've got that graphic ready at all or teed up.
I do indeed. It is on your screen right now.
Fantastic. So, guys, yeah, if you can
through it.
Sorry,
I'll let you talk people through it.
Yeah, basically, it's just to let people know about all our social media channels and how we're trying to grow them. So obviously, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, and most importantly, we've got our YouTube channel. So we're trying to grow that, guys. So honestly, I can't tell you how much it helps us. The more you follow us on all our channels, especially YouTube as well, that the more we'll grow, and more we'll grow as a business, and then we'll be able to bring bigger and better things to you. So yeah, I know we plead for this every week, but it's it's really important to us, isn't it, Dom, to grow that side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm purposely leaving these on the screen just so that people can actually catch them. And I'm going to read through them because they're really important. So on LinkedIn, you can find Neil, and he has made this a sensible link now. But on LinkedIn, you can find Neil at Neil-Thompson-DW. On YouTube, you can find us at the Delegate Wranglers. On Twitter, you can find him at the Delegate Wranglers, and on Instagram, you can find him at the Delegate Wranglers. Please, please, please go follow all of the channels. They're all on the screen now. I'm hoping that Neil's going to tell me that he's getting loads of notifications on his phone that people are signing up and subscribing. It's really important for the longevity and the future of this of the show, and also of Delegate Wranglers, that you engage on all the social channels, because it's ultimately how we drive information. So Neil, I don't know if you've got anything more that you'd like to add to that.
Yeah, only that I don't know if everybody knows, but it's actually Instagram's 10th birthday today. So so just a good little we've done a thing as a Facebook story, good little freebie there for you all to do, a good free hit of a post, post something up, tag loads of people in. It's it's the 10th birthday of Instagram today, so a little
mad.
I know, right?
Yeah, I had no idea.
No, absolutely, I didn't until I saw somebody else do it.
And we're so used to just it being there. You forget a time when it wasn't, but of course, I know. 10 years. Wow.
10 years and 10 years. Right. Anyway, so next thing up, we had a good. Well, there was something that we took part in last week, and I know you saw a bit of it as well, didn't you, Dom? The Facebook Summit, Global Community Summit.
Yes, I'm going to put you on camera, and I'm going to let you talk about that, because I think it's important that that you chat about what that was all about.
Yeah, we made a little film about it as well, which I think we'll try and show if we can. But Basically all the kind of group admins, well, not all the group admins, sorry, all the ones who the community partners, like ourselves, we got invited to attend this a global community summit, and I think there was part of it put out to the wider world, because I think, like Dom, for instance, you managed to see it, didn't you, Dom? Despite not running a kind of active Facebook group, but then they closed off parts of it and just showed them to us. So we got an address by Zuckerberg, and it was really cool. They had someone doing like a DJ and somebody making some live art. It was really funky and cool. But some of the things, some of the new products that they were talking about were really exciting. I mean, there's some that I can't tell you about, but just to give you a quick overview, there's a new topics feature coming where you used to, in the past, when you'd write a post, you'd have to choose a topic, and now you can just put a hashtag, and then you can search on those hashtags for them. So that's really exciting. There's a new thing called chats, which they didn't give us any details on, but it said something about real-time chats. I don't know what it is. There was something called prompts, which was basically, I could say, right, everyone, send a picture of your best event ever, and then you kind of swipe the card across. It's really cool. And then there was a Q&A, new function, a Q&A. And then the one that's going to be really useful to everyone, Dom, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you, but it's one where you can customize your profile to that particular group. So when you enter that group, you can have a set profile for that, because I know this was a sticking point with some people who were saying, I don't like my personal Facebook profile to be on, to be shown within the group, really, because it's about just me and my family. So now you can actually have a personalized one that's just for groups. You don't have to log out or anything. You just stay within it. So that's really exciting as well. So I can't wait till, I haven't got any of them yet, but we will be, rest assured, we will be one of the first people to get it.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Really cool.
So, should we move on?
Yes, absolutely.
So, what caught our eye this week is a really cool thing.
I just sent you a message about that. We're going to come back to that a little bit later in the show, because for some reason the video that you sent over suddenly decided to not play. So we're going to come back to that one, and we'll do that towards the end of the show, and we'll fix it while Jack's talking. So I think now would be a very good opportunity to bring Jack in, unless you've got anything else that you want to cover in advance, Neil.
No, absolutely not. No, we kept him waiting for so long. So yeah, as I say, I've known Jack for about a month or so, but he's a really great guy, and we've had plenty of conversations in that time. So first of all, let me introduce Jack Saward. Jack, how are you?
Hi guys, how are you?
Really good, really good. Thanks for joining us today, Jack.
Not a problem at all. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, how's the weather where you are? Is it all good?
It's not bad today, to be honest. There've been a few days. My office is in my converted conservatory, so there's a few days when the weather's been rather wet that the noise cancelling headphones have had to be worn. But we'll give it a go today without them.
Yeah. So first of all, before we crack on with what we're going to talk about, do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey? How you got into the event industry? Doing what you're doing. Was that what you always planned to do, or was it kind of like a crazy journey to get to where you are?
Probably the easiest way to say is I'm a second generation eventer. So I was brought up in events. My father was in events for well over 30 years. I can remember as a kid boxing up giveaways for exhibition stands, in the lounge whilst watching cartoons, talking about child labour, right through to learning how to pack the back of a wagon properly at 13 years old, because I was good at Tetris, and people will still have a look at it now, and I'll still say that I could fit 10% more in the van than what's currently in it. So yeah, it was kind of one of those that it was going to happen at some point. I've always been associated with events.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Saward Marketing and Events. What is it you guys? Is it anything specific that you guys work on? Is it kind of like a broad things that have you got lots of different clients in lots of different areas?
Yeah, I think the main thing about Saward Marketing and Events is we try and offer a package of support that is a bolt-on to an existing organization. Now that could be a client direct, it could be an exhibitor direct, or it could be a marketing agency who don't have exhibitions or events in-house, because let's be honest, exhibitions and events aren't regular things. For a client it could only happen once every 2 years in some circumstances. So Some agencies don't have that in-house, so we're kind of become a bolt-on to their service. Become one of their members of staff, and it also means that we're able to offer I suppose the term that I could best use is one that we use with some of our customers. We try and offer a professional cuddle. I know that might sound daft, but a professional cuddle, the way we interpret that is, it's that warmth and comfort that you feel knowing that everything's going to be all right when you get a cuddle from a family member. We try and offer that in a professional sense in the events industry. So, someone's entrusting us to deliver their service, and we want them to have that same reassurance that everything will be all right on the night, and that's kind of the term and the philosophy that we've sort of brought to our business.
Fantastic. I really like that. What do you think about that, Dom? Getting a nice cuddle from Jack.
Look, in a world in which cuddles are prohibited,
it's a definite virtual cuddle at the minute.
Definite virtual cuddle, yeah. So, Jack, I know the topic of this conversation is the importance of having a good phone book, and keeping in touch with people. Do you want to expand on that a little bit, and how our conversation started and stuff?
How you dropped me in it, you mean?
Yeah.
When I saw the title come up on the screen, no, we were having a chat. We're both very passionate about the industry. We're both trying to do as much as we can to say positive things, even in difficult circumstances, about the industry. And I think it was you were on the train on the way across to the One Industry, One Voice event.
It was wasn't it the UK Kickstart thing?
That's the one. Yeah.
The
Kickstart one. You were sat on the train. I think we were even struggling to get on, I think, that day, and I bounced you across the link, and
I couldn't get on.
And you said, Jack, we haven't actually had you on the show yet. We should think of something to say. You talk to a load of people from different areas of the world. Why don't we have a chat about that? And I said, well, I do feel as though I've got a good phone book when it comes to contacts. And you went, there we go. That's what we're about. And it literally just came from that idea. But yeah, I do think it's important, and people may laugh at that, but I think the strength of any business comes from the people that you work with. And that doesn't mean the people that you employ. It comes from the people that you work with, because a project can only be delivered well and effectively, in my opinion, if you have the right people that you trust, that you rely on, that won't let you or your customers down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I know that, like last week, for instance, you were talking about the people that you'd been speaking to. You'd been speaking to people in the States and in South Africa and France and Germany and stuff like that. So are you kind of trawling through people that you worked with and kind of staying in contact with them? Have you got a kind of strategy to doing this kind of stuff? Yeah,
people became quite hesitant in terms of not knowing how to approach people during this period. Because I think if you took clients, for example, for a first instance, the last thing they wanted to speak to, you'd have imagined, would be your event planner, your event organizer, because they were worried about in-house, they were trying to survive as a business. Last thing they want to think about is, the next show that they're going to be at. And we did a very soft touch in our approach in terms of speaking with clients. It was a case of a little bit more of a reassurance communication, one for them to know that we were still here, know that we would be dropping them a line. We didn't expect a response. It was just a case of just letting them know that we were here to speak to. Because that just reassures them. I mean, I had one customer who came on to us and said, Jack, with everything that's going on at the minute, are you still going to be about? And that is an actual fear for certain customers. We've seen, unfortunately, many of our peers in the industry who haven't survived, and it's with a heavy heart I say that, but there are clients out there who have that added anxiety in terms of what are we going to do when it starts and it comes back. So I would say to people, it is important that you keep in touch with your clients. It doesn't have to come across as though you're trying to sell the next show or plan the next show. It's more of a reassurance that you're there and you're able to support when they need support.
Yeah, because things are changing so quickly as well, in terms of what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw Martin Fullard's post on LinkedIn today.
About the O2.
Yeah, about the event, the big event at the O2. Did you see that, Dom? I don't know if you've caught it yet.
Yeah, I saw it. I think I read it this morning. Something like the O2 normally 20,000 people, and I think they're doing an event with 4,700, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah. So I mean that is that is an indication to me that things might be developing slightly quicker than we realize. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's still sad that capacity is down to only a quarter. But for me,
it's odd, isn't it? We all know the O2. Yeah, but we all know the O2, and the thought of there only being 4,700 people in that auditorium for a gig just strike me as odd.
Yeah, it's going to be strange, but I mean, for me, at least it's a start. That's a first step that we need to take towards a big event. And I know there's been some big outdoor ones, hasn't there, Jack? Along the way as well, the test events and things.
Yeah, and I think I had a conversation with a colleague the other day, and I said, look, we've got some of the best health and safety members of staff in any industry.
Yeah.
And actually, what government have been doing is saying that they can't do their job. And I would have every confidence in a health and safety rep. I've met some great people during lockdown as well as prior to lockdown, and then being able to come in and say, the only way we can run this event in the current circumstances is for X number of people because the venue has X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Why don't we trust the people that are there to do that job and deliver that job?
Yeah.
Let them get paid for what they do very effectively.
Yeah.
They don't need government saying, this is a standalone, this is what you must do for any event. That doesn't help the industry. We have to trust the professionals to do their own jobs properly, because they wouldn't want to put on any event that is a risk to our industry. They'll advise if the government are saying, oh, you can have up to 2,000 people, and they look at the venue and say, no, we should only be doing this for 1,500. Fantastic. They're the professionals. Let them make that decision.
Yeah.
Quickly, gents. I've just seen that Paul Spice has dropped the link to the story about the O2 in the comments below. So if you haven't seen it, have a look in the comments. Look for Paul Spice's comment a couple of seconds ago, and you find the link to it.
We just had one as well on. First of all, by the way, hello to everybody watching on YouTube. We've got Alan, Mentu. Hi, Mentu. Michael, Nikki Moore, Roz Wilson, plenty of others. Quick question from Nikki Moore. She said, what about the event at the Royal Albert Hall that was spoken about too this week? Did anybody see that? I didn't see that one myself. Anyone else see that one, or anybody share any light in the chat room? Let us know what that's about, or Nikki, let us know. Be interested to know more. But as I say, Dom, Jack, it's important to think the point we were trying to make was that it's so important to keep talking to your clients as well. Yeah. Then on the flip side as well, there's also your suppliers as well, the other way around. So critical. Is that something else you've been doing as well?
Yeah, critical. I know a lot of people when things first hit, I'm sure some businesses and the financial directors in some businesses were saying, right, the books are closed. Don't have any more outgoings. Yeah. My conversation with some of my suppliers was, right, how are you going to survive? Where are your issues? And we shared issues and concerns, because, we all have to get through this together, not just one of us, because if we haven't got the suppliers, if we haven't got the materials coming through, well, we can't deliver to our customers. So I think we have to look across the board and say, how do we all get through that? And how do we work together to ensure we all get through that? So that was my first point of contact with my suppliers, and my peers, even down to peers in the market. I've had many a regular conversation with peers in the market and said, right, well, how are things looking? And sharing learning, sharing learning practice. And this is where you touch on in terms of people from my phone book who are not in the UK. I'm constantly wanting to learn from what's happening in other countries, because it's only from doing that we can pick out the positives and negatives from what's happened.
And it's changing quite fast, isn't it, in the other countries as well? Really changing.
Yeah, and they're looking in and asking me questions in terms of what's going on in the UK. And I said, well, I'll be interested to see what your news is saying, because I have you first. But it is that.
I just want to chime in on what the comments we were making just now about the importance of keeping in touch with clients, because the way that we've kept in touch with clients is we accept that clients don't work with us all the time on every event that they do, but actually the vast majority of the clients that we have are constantly looking at different platforms, and they're seeing what other people are doing around the production of virtual events. And the way that we've kept in touch with clients is if we know that a client is looking for a platform, for example, for a specific job, whether that includes us for the tech production side or not, but if they're looking for a platform and we've had experience with one of the platforms that they've shortlisted, then we're going back to them and feeding back our experiences or giving our clients feedback on the use of those platforms. And it's just a way of sharing information that's working really nicely. And the result is, in a lot of cases, that we've ended up proceeding those conversations to the point that we've either actually physically help them with their event, or we've gone through a couple of demos with different platforms with them to help them identify what might work and what might not work for them. But it's just enabled and facilitated an environment where I'm not constantly calling them to say, oh, how about that job? Is it going to go ahead? We're actually just calling to have a chat about what's going on, to see if there's any way we can help each other. And that's been a really lovely thing.
Yeah, I've had these kind of conversations with quite a few people. Just every couple of weeks, just a quick call or a quick Zoom call, or even just a quick message or a WhatsApp or anything. Just staying in touch with people and just letting them know that you're there, and you might need them as soon as you can. You're going to be using them again. To keep that relationship. It's really important, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I'm against people offering stuff for free per se. I think it devalues some of what we're doing, and I've seen a lot of stuff on some of the social media platforms where people have been offering X, Y, and Z for free. But on the reverse of that, I have been saying to people, look, if people want to have a Zoom chat about things, or any other platform for that matter, but if anyone wants to chat online, I'm quite willing to share a cup of Yorkshire tea or a bottle of Nuki Brown, and just literally chat through.
Wow. That's not a drink I've heard talked about for a very long time, Jack.
Well, I'm based up in the northeast. When Neil calls himself a northerner, he isn't really. I'm right up in Northumberland, so But I just take the approach of, if people want to have a chat and talk through and let me share with them what I know from the industry at the minute, give them some of my thoughts and help them plan. That for me is a positive. That's not me leading to want to do business with them. If it comes, great. But if it at least reassures them about our industry, so they will step a foot back into the industry, that's a positive for someone within our industry. Because I think that's the main thing. We need to give people the confidence to make that effort to come back into the industry when it happens.
Yeah, I just see that as good, solid networking. I mean, this is the kind of thing you would do in an exhibition. You'd be at a stand, start talking to somebody. You're not initially going, oh, how can I help you? Or how can you help me? You're just saying, give us a card. Yeah, I might need, a crane operator at some point or whatever. And you just never know. And it's just about keeping, making yourself available, I think is the biggest thing, rather than closing yourself off and saying, that's it, I've got no work, so I'm closed for business, shutters down. Shutters should be up and open arms, kind of thing to people. And like Dom said before, not everything has to be about a conversation about, a job or money or, closing the job. It's just not working like that. That's just the wrong approach at the moment. It's all about just taking it nice and steady and being in touch with people and then seeing how that develops. That's certainly how we're trying to behave anyway.
And I know we're talking about the importance of a good phone book, but if you just think, how have we all built those phone books? I have a huge amount of contacts. We haven't built phone books through virtual events and through having a chat over Zoom. We've built our phone books through physical live events and actually talking to people in case we need that crane operator or in case we need that lighting tech or the AV company. That's where we built our phone books. And now the phone books that we've all built over the last however many years of our careers in whatever industry, now's the time that we can actually start putting them to really good use.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Now, Jeff, you're getting a lot of love. I'm just going to say hi to Natasha, who I know is watching over on LinkedIn, as is Helen Moon. Hi, Helen. Hi, Natasha. Nice to see you both, as well as Maris. Lots of people saying, good to see you, Jack. Natasha said, good to see you, Jack. Maris said, great conversation. Tom Morley said, what a lovely guy Jack is. Can we have him as Prime Minister, please?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I'd say something I shouldn't, because I'm brutally honest. I'd tell people what I thought.
With a bottle of Nikki Brown on the podium, right?
No, Jack for president. Yeah, I agree. There's a there might be a vacancy coming up. So
very quickly, I'm going to just go back to something that we normally do right at the beginning. I'm just going to say a very quick hello run through. So hi to Jan Denning, Mandeep, Linda Elsden, Denise Cunningham, Felicity Berry, Paul Spicer, who I know has commented, Anika, the most regular viewer, Tom Morley, probably our second most regular viewer, closely followed by Chrissy Bray, who knows watching, Karen Edwards, who else we got? Becky Whitaker. Afternoon, Becky. Mandeep again. Mandeep sending a virtual hug. Tom actually commented something made me laugh as well. Pat the bag of a wagon. You're talking my language, mate. After doing a 100-drum team event, people bring their drums to the van and at the end ask where the other van is. Tetris. Ha ha ha. Maria Yako, good afternoon. Amanda Ellis, nice to see you. Jan Denning said, where was Jan's comment? She said, there's never been a more important time to work together. You're absolutely right. Afternoon, Jane Quelly, David Burgess, and Sam Keithley. That's the quick.
Hey guys,
I should have done it earlier, but that's where we're up to.
Oh God, so many familiar names there. Can't wait to see you all again in a real life setting. It'll be great, won't it? I mean, we're gonna have a big party at some point, I tell you what.
Neil, you and I have made a lot of new friends and contacts through doing this show in the last 32 and a half episodes that we've done. But we are going to be in that awkward position where we're going to turn up at an event and we're not going to recognize everyone whose names we would know. So we're going to have to get people to wear badges.
Welcome to my world. That's what happened. so anyway, but guys, we are. I'm just going to drop a hint that we're planning something coming up soon, aren't we, Dom? That's going to be. Hopefully, we can invite you all to. Not an in-person event, not yet, but we're going to do what we can. Sadly, yeah, but we're going to do what we can. So, yes, watch this space. So, Jack, going back to the current situation now, I know you're a really positive person, and I don't want this to turn into a moan fest about the government and the situation and stuff. But how do you currently see it? I mean, obviously the 1st of October, we were all aiming for that date, and then we got that, that got changed. How were you feeling when you got that news, kind of thing?
Well, where to start? When it first came in, I was actually stuck in Vegas. So when lockdown happened, I was actually taking down an event in Vegas, and I was getting calls. I was getting calls from customers even across there at sort of 1 o'clock in the morning because of the time difference. Just asking what's happening, Jack. What the event's going to look like? How do we plan? How do we move forward? When I got back and we actually looked at our calendar of events, we actually said, right, realistically, we're at end of March. Realistically, what's it going to look like? And we straight away said, let's plan for 2021. That was just a straight blanket. If we get anything prior to the end of 2020, it's a bonus. But we actually thought to ourselves, as a business, how do we plan for 2021? Yeah. Then obviously the other week when we had the announcement in terms of March potentially, it was a case of, all right, how do we tighten the belts even more? Can we? What do we do to diversify? What do we do to keep people active? And you mentioned someone there in the conversation, someone who I've got a lot of time for, a lot of respect for, Helen Moon. I was actually chatting with her this morning, so it's nice for Helen to join us and the work she does with Eventwell. One of the biggest things that I have been pushing during this whole process is how we stay mentally healthy, as well as physically healthy, as well as looking after our businesses. But if we get too low, we aren't going to have a clear set of eyes to look at what the problem is in front of us. And a lot of the conversations I've been having, with peers, I spoke to one on the day of the announcement. She literally just sent a message to us on LinkedIn, and she said, "What now, Jack? I give up." My first response back to her was, "Here's a link for Zoom. We're chatting now," because I didn't want her to sit with that lull. And we chatted, and I didn't have solutions, but we chatted. By the end of the conversation, we were giggling, we were laughing in terms of stuff that we'd done, and we were sort of saying, we've never been a proud industry. We've never been people who couldn't roll up the sleeves and just do something to survive. And we were chatting about solutions of go get a job driving or, go get it. I know a good colleague of mine who at the minute is doing home removals, using his vehicles and doing home removals. We roll up our sleeves and we survive. However that happens, we'll find a way. And I've just been trying to say to people, look, just make sure when we're able to react and go again, we're still here. So do what you have to survive until that point. And I'm exactly the same. I have no problem going and putting tins of beans on shelves. If it's a way of me staying mentally healthy during this period, I'll do it.
Massively important. Massively important. I mean, it's something that we've been quite lucky really with the Delegate Wranglers in that we've been able to throw all our energy and effort into helping everybody on the group. And so, making opportunities for people to promote themselves and to, do these shows, for example, Dom and myself, they've been doing these shows now for over 6 months, every week,
really?
And promoting and getting all the content. Seems like about 10 years, doesn't it, Dom?
Seriously.
But, exactly what you're saying, it's really helped me mentally to get through this period of all that. It's kind of like I always say to people coming into the industry, and I've said this before on the show, a good bit of advice is to never look at the big picture too often when you're doing an event, because it'll scare the living bejesus out of you, because you'll think all this pressure and all this stuff going on. So I try not to think about the whole, the consequence of what's going on outside there. I try and just focus on the little bits that I can control, and the little bits within my little bubble, and what I can do to kind of positively help, rather than worry too much about that big weight of everything coming on you. And I think the mental side of things is the thing that's really coming through now. We were all aiming to that date of 1st of October, and and then suddenly to have that taken away from you again, it's almost like running a marathon and then getting within 100 yards of the finish line and then saying, oh, by the way, it's another 10 mile. It's deflating. So I think everybody's a bit apathetic about it at the moment. They're a bit kind of flat, and that's how it feels at the moment. So I think it's important that people like yourselves, are offering, olive branches to people to kind of help and to talk to. We're doing this on the show, and people like Marty Fuller are trying to promote things for the good of the industry, and all the people in well-being. We work with Laura Capel-Abra of Stress Matters.
Yeah.
All the hard work they do. It's massively important at the moment, isn't it?
It's using your time. I mean, a point that Dom mentioned before in terms of the phone book, and how we generated these contacts in our phone for over a number of years, seeing them on site. Going back to one of your earlier comments, we've known each other for just over a month. We've never met in person, and I thought I had a good international phone book prior to lockdown. I thought I could pick up the phone and ring whatever I needed, depending on what country I was in. I've been proved wrong during lockdown, because I've had the time to actually actively go out there, put myself out there and meet new contacts and network. And actually there's people now. I mean, I've been helping out two peers. They set up a platform, a networking platform during lockdown called Meow. And basically the format is there's only ever 4 people on that networking format. So you're not in one of these big groups where there's about 16 people and all you're hearing is elevator pitches. You get the chance to actually find out more about people. And to be honest, there's people that I've met on there now that I wouldn't hesitate to pick up the phone and ask them to deliver a piece of work for me. And I've never met them in person. But I've taken the time. I've taken the time out to do it. I've taken the time out to find out, invest some time in them, find out a bit more about what they do. And we don't, as event professionals, we don't normally have time. That's one of the things we never do have, because we're normally bouncing from one exhibition to the other, normally driving straight from one venue to another.
Yeah.
So I would advocate to anyone, whilst we have time, use the time wisely, whether that's bettering yourself, doing some courses online, by doing some of the webinars that are educational webinars about the industry, or just chatting with peers. We're the first to open our doors to chat with people and share experience and give advice.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny that you're quite happy nowadays to just jump on a Zoom call with somebody like you might not have ever spoken to before. Whereas before in the past, you'd have been like, oh, can we just do it by phone, or can we just, do it by email or whatever. Now, because we're having that lack of contact, we're all just jumping onto these calls, and it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I've met so many I've done exactly the same as you. Met so many people through not only doing this show with Dom, but everything else that we're involved with at the moment, and had the time to put my foot on the brake and kind of think about what I'm doing and how I want to go with my company, and that kind of thing. Just reassess really. So it's been. I'm trying to take the positives from it like that, like yourself. I try not to think about what's going on because I just don't like thinking. I'd rather just be going forward than looking backwards really.
Neil, can I give one advisory though? Is make sure you don't assume people are comfortable with your comfort in terms of communication. One of my key designers, I started chatting with him, at the beginning of lockdown in terms of how he was going to help develop his service and get out there and be seen. And he really struggles in terms of being on camera.
Yeah.
So don't just assume, don't just assume in terms of how would you like to have a catch up, and it may be that it's old school in terms of a telephone call, that was new technology a long time ago, speaking on the phone, so don't be, someone might just prefer to have a quick WhatsApp conversation. So be conscious about that. Yeah,
very true. Very, very true. Honestly, I totally agree with you on that one. It's not for everybody, is it? So, and I think you're right. We're all kind of guilty going, no, do you want to jump on a Zoom? But maybe we should take the time to, that's a really good tip, that, Jack. I like that one. Just make sure that people are comfortable with doing it. Really good. Any thoughts on that, Dom?
No, I'm actually just going to go to the comments if you don't mind, because Jane said, Jane Quelly said, I think the mental issues have been underplayed. I'm allegedly the strongest person ever mentally, but admit to being wobbly. And I think that's probably vastly true of the majority of people in the events industry in some way, shape or form at the moment. I think wobbly is probably a very, very good way to put it, because I think in the main, people are quite strong, and I think we are quite a resilient bunch. I think the event industry probably makes you that way. However, there are just some things that push it just a little bit too far, and wobbly is a really good phrase, and I've seen lots of people wobbly recently, and I've spoken to lots of people who are the same. Anika said balancing your mental health is crucial during this pandemic. What I love about our industry is we're a community and we all want to ensure we're okay, even when things were normal, let alone now. Jen Denning said, I totally relate, Jane. Definitely wobbles, worries of not being able to do my job well, etc. Sending hugs, virtual hugs though. Anika again said, I've made so many new friends in the last 6 months in this industry that I'll have for years to come. I think everybody can relate to that. And whether that's for myself and Neil through doing the show, through contact that we've had away from it, through new LinkedIn requests and connections that we've had, through people that we've met, helped, guided, advised in whatever shape or form, I think we've all built a bigger network, and probably a stronger network too.
It's also the new skills as well that we're all picking up. We're all doing these, we're all attending, things like this or online courses or whatever. Yeah. And we're all learning new skills. I mean, and that can even be learning new skills at home, like building a fence or whatever. We're all doing these different things.
What new skills have you learned at home, Neil?
Oh, I've learned so much. so where'd you start? I've refurbed my shed.
Yeah, we'll get Diane's comments on that as to whether you've learned skills or not.
Diane, be kind. No, Diane's learned lots of skills. I call it DIY Digsy. That's her nickname, Digsy. DIY Digsy. She loves a bit of DIY. I'm terrible. I'm not terrible, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting better. We cut down a tree over the weekend. So, not cut it down, pruned it. But that was.
So you've used this time to turn into a lumberjack.
Yep, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. yes. There's one for the kids there.
Yeah,
right. So Jack, what's this is, I'm not asking you to be Mystic Meg or anything here, but how do you see the next let's say the next period up till Christmas, and then maybe the next 3 or 4 months after Christmas? Let's take them as 2 periods.
I think up to Christmas is going to be difficult, and I think that's where peer support is going to really come into play. Especially with people putting pressure, people with families, putting pressure on themselves in terms of to try and provide their families with a normal Christmas.
Yeah.
Whatever that may look like this year, putting added pressure. We're all guilty of buying presents for family members that sometimes are stretching us to what we shouldn't be.
Yeah,
and we'll be trying to provide as normal as possible, and we don't want to put ourselves into that financial pressure point, whilst we're going through this period. So be open, be honest, try and go back old school and do and use time as one of the most effective things that you've got over the Christmas period. Do stuff with the family again. I think is going to be crucial. So I know that's not specifically industry related, but I am conscious that people will be putting a lot of pressure on themselves leading up until Christmas and the New Year. From an events industry, if we can see more of those little things sprouting out like at the O2, I think that's a positive. And I think we need to be shouting about the experiences that the individuals have at those events. Not about how well we did as an industry providing it, because that's something that we do anyway. That's something that we're shouting about ourselves again. But if we had this chat the other week, Neil, in terms of I'm full supporter of one industry, one voice, and we make events, strong advocate for both.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say that we haven't done well as an industry really to differentiate ourselves from all the other sectors that are struggling is we haven't shouted about what experiences people are missing out on. And we haven't got those to shout out about those experiences that they're missing out on because we're not able to deliver. We've been another industry who've been shouting about our jobs. And that's the same as other industries who are stressing at the minute in terms of their jobs. So that's not being critical because it's needed to be said. But I think we need to be able to capture some of the experiences that people are having at these events and say, for others to get this, we need to be allowed to do what we do.
Yeah, and this is the point of the One Industry, One Voice campaign.
Yeah.
We put it on the group, guys, and I'll put it in the chat as well. But honestly, join up with that, see what they're doing. They've got some big stuff coming in November. I think it's starting in November-ish. Lots of interesting things happening. But I think it's very important to be shouting outwards rather than kind of across ways to each other. We're fully behind all the campaigns, and it's good that we make events and all the others, Let the Music Play, etc., have all joined into the One Industry, One Voice. To be a truly cross campaign. Really, it's going to be really exciting. So hopefully that should get our messages out.
Yeah.
We're thinking, what we can do personally is to kind of support them, shout about it, spread the word. Talk positively like we are rather than negatively. Let's be all about what we can bring back to the industry rather than what we've had taken away from us. Let's all take that view on it and stuff. So we've had I'm just looking as well, Jack. I know I want to talk quickly about your new podcast that's coming up as well. We'll put you on the spot, but we've got a few more comments in the chat room there, Don. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, we have, and there were a couple of people that mentioned this, and it was something that I meant to bring up a couple of weeks ago, but, and I can't remember in which show that it came up. But talking about mental health first aiders, I think David Burgess was the first one to say that he's now a mental health first aider, and then I saw Anika, who gained the qualification over the summer. If you don't know Mental Health First Aid England, it's absolutely worth looking them up. I actually interviewed the CEO when I first got access to LinkedIn Live, a guy called Simon Blake, really, really lovely guy. Mental Health First Aid England, I'm just going to see First Aid England. I'm just going to see if I can get the link so I can post it. Do look them up. The mental health first aider qualification is probably as important, if currently not more important, than a general a physical first aid. I don't know what physical first aid. I don't know what the difference is. But it's probably arguably more important right now that we go out and we get qualified in these things. I'm actually going to do the program in November and sign up to become a mental health first aider because I think it's really important. It's mental health first aid training. It's how to spot the signs of mental health problems in colleagues and help guide them through it, and being that first aid point of call. And it's mhfaengland.org, and I'm just going to post that into the comments right now. And I will also find the interview that I did with Simon because it was really interesting. Yeah,
and I know you can also book that through Laura at Stress Matters as well. They're running those courses as well. Yes. So we'll try and put links to all that on the wrap up, which we'll post up later. And some of the other things we've been speaking about today as well. Yeah. So I'm just looking through. Paul Spicer said, "I just need a red and black play shirt for my
I saw that.
You're going to get it, Paul.
Let's talk about podcasts.
Yes, let's talk about podcasts. Jack, tell us about your new venture. It sounds really exciting. I think we've even got a little graphic to show as well.
Graphic on the screen.
Yeah, I noticed you said that Karen Edwards was on. Karen works for an organisation called ESS, and Neil. In fact, I think wasn't that the first time we actually did?
Yeah, Karen's a lovely lady, and the team, the stuff they do is great as well. Really, really like everybody over there. So, hello, Karen. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, well, it kind of started from there. I'd been doing a little bit of unofficial coaching with some new event graduates. And a couple of them had said, and again, it came back to this contact in terms of your phone book and people who you knew. And, why don't you do a podcast and chat with some of the people that you know? And I thought, no, mine's not a voice for radio. Mine's not a voice for recording and putting out there. And it was actually after the event that we did for Karen that I had some more industry peers who actually said, you should really do one, Jack. You should really have a think about it.
Yeah.
So after a long, hard think about it, I sort of thought, well, only if I don't talk about what's happening now. Yeah. There's enough people talking about what's happening now. And I want to share why we work in events. What are the positives about why we work in events? So I spoke with a colleague of mine, Ellen, and I think Ellen was on live on YouTube, so she's tuned in, bless her. And I said, well, I'm only doing it if you do it with me, because I wanted it to be a conversation, because I think the balance works well, just like yourself and Dom. I think that balance works well. And I will do a short, and we're classifying it as like an industry energy boost. So it's only going to be about half an hour once a week. It's going to be chatting with people from across the industry and across the international industry. And it's going to be saying, why are you in events? What was your journey into events? Because we know that we've all come from different journeys into events. What have been some of the learnings that you've had along the way, some of your favorite events, and what's some advice that you can give to people who either may be interested in getting into the events or maybe are out of the events through no fault of their own and looking to get back into a sector of the events industry. It's unbelievable how much people don't understand about how big the events industry is. They're sometimes focused on their area of events and they don't realize the breadth that the events industry covers. So that's what we've done. We've stumped for it. We went 2 feet in. We're still sort of learning. We're learning as we go, but that's half of the fun. We've got some great guests, and I have pulled on some of my contacts. We've got people joining us from Brazil. We've got people joining us from America, closer to home here in the UK. But we're hopeful that each series, the guests, we're only doing short 6 series sections. Yeah. And every one of those 6 in each of the series are going to be from completely different areas of the business.
Good idea, yeah. Really like that. And it's going to be non-COVID. It's just going to be talking about people's journeys and how they got there and what they're up to, that kind of thing.
As I say, that positive boost, that reminder to people. This is why we do what we do. So if you're feeling a bit low, you've got half an hour and you just want to listen to someone shouting about why they love their events, talking about specific events that they've worked on, you'll be able to visualize and put yourself into those shoes and just remind yourself in terms of, that's why I'm focused to be here when we're back up and running again. So that's kind of the idea, mate.
Fantastic. Speaking of which, I don't know if anybody saw our, we did an Instagram story over the weekend, because in this house we've kind of introduced, I don't know if you can see that.
I saw it.
A coronavirus jar. So you can't mention it over the weekend. You just put a pound in. I recommend it to anyone. And I am absolutely trying not to talk about all that stuff. And also, I think you should have called it the Nuki Brown Natter, by the way.
Great name. I'm actually just going to put the graphic up on the screen one more time. Jack, it's the Events Insight, correct?
Yes, that's correct, mate. We just
how can people find you? Where can they find you?
We've got the website, theeventsinsight.com. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. We just uploaded, as I say, it's an exclusive because we did just upload it overnight. So it's on Spotify now. That's an automatic. Obviously, with Apple and Google, they go through the process of approving it. So it should appear on there as well. With it just being the intro at the minute, you can also get the intro initial one from the website as well. So please have a listen, get engaged. Let us know what you think. Give us some details and contacts of people that you would like to see us have a chat with. We're all about the stories. We're all about the positive experiences that people are willing to share and the hints that we can give to people. I think that's the most important thing. If we can share some of our experience, we've earned these gray hairs. If we can share some of that experience with people who are either new to the industry or worried about what to do next, we'll try and give some of those little bonuses and these hints.
Yeah, brilliant, Jack. I mean, I'll ask you as well, if you can provide me all those links, I'll put them in the wrap up. We post a wrap up, in a few hours with any kind of links and things like that. So if you can send that to me, we'll make sure that people can do it. And let's try and get behind Jack and the team and try and give that a listen and and a watch and things like. Is it a video one, Jack, or is it just a podcast?
No, just a podcast. Again, it's just for something. It could be even you've had a bad day and you just wanting to sort of drift off to sleep and you just literally just listen to something with the lights out. It's literally, it's nothing that you need to get too technical about. We're old school. Just listen to you on your radio. If you're going out for a run, again, talking about staying mentally healthy, physically healthy, go out for a walk the dog, just listen to it for half an hour. That was the idea of it. We're not there to compete with other things that are already out there. We wanted to do something completely different that was nice and short, just as I say, that short industry energy boost.
Nah, good for you, Jack. Well, listen, it's been we're going to be, which me and Dom are trying to be much more strict on our hitting our time scales. But thanks very much for coming on the show today. It's been really, really good, chatting to you, and your positive outlook is just infectious. So really recommend everybody catch up with Jack on LinkedIn if you don't know him already. I've only known him a month and I feel like I've known him ages. He's a great guy. So good luck with everything, Jack. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, mate. Thanks for
joining us. Really appreciate. And we'll get all the info and get it out in the wrap up. But I've already put a link out to www.theeventsinsight.com, which is your podcast. So we'll catch you all on social media.
Yeah, I suppose one very last thing to say. Everyone that's been involved in helping us develop this, we have only met during lockdown. It was another conscious decision. We didn't go to our current contacts. We went to people that we'd only just met. So the design, Nathan's doing the website at the minute. It's not finished. The music, Catherine's been superb. The photography, they're all people that we've only just met. And the idea is to bring that community together of new contacts, just to show what's possible.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, Jack. I'll definitely take a listen. But thanks again.
Thanks.
Really
no, appreciate your time, guys. Thanks ever so much.
Take care. Cool. We'll see you very soon.
So, Dom.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing with the thing we were going to do earlier?
We've got it now.
We've got it now.
No, we've got it. So as everyone who is watching currently will know, we do every week a feature, or most weeks do a feature called What's Caught Our Eye. Neil, what's caught our eye this week?
So this is, I don't know if anybody saw this on Supplier Hour this week. It's from a guy called Alex Banks, who's on DW as at the voice of Alex Banks. And it's a little, I'll just play it and just take a listen to this, guys. Hope you enjoy it. It's really fantastic. It really caught our eyes. So, check it out.
Don't tell us not to fly, we've simply got to. Who's racking up these bills? It's us and not you. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on our parade. Don't tell us not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Who told you you're allowed to rain on our parade? We're gonna march our band out and we'll beat our drum. We won't be drowned out. You can bet on that, sir. Believe it, we don't fake it. I swear we'll fight until we make it. This country really needs some entertainment. What's life without the hope of some enjoyment? Come on now, Rishi, look me in the eye. We gotta fly once, we gotta try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, life is juicy, Rishi, can't you see? We gotta have our bite, sir. Get ready for us, Boris, 'cause we's a-comin'. We simply gotta march, our hearts a drumming. Nobody had better rain on our parade. We gotta fly once, we gotta try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, life is juicy, Rishi, can't you see? We gotta have our bite, sir. Ha, ha. Get ready for us, 'cause we's a-comin'. We simply gotta march, our hearts are drumming. Nobody, I said nobody, I said nobody had better rain on our parade. How?
And we are back. Neil, where did you find that?
It was on. Alex posted it in the supplier hour this week.
I didn't see it. It's really good.
It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing. I love it. So hope you all enjoyed that, guys. So yeah, it's been another great show. Just to let you know, guys, as well, for all the people who are subscribed to the Live Hive, you guys will be getting a bit of bonus content. Just been chatting with Jack, and it's going to be 3 fantastic little tips for you to take away from it. So if you're not subscribed already, scroll up in this message, and it actually Diana's put the link in there, and you won't miss a show. This is the way we let you know about all the shows that are coming. We even give you reminders of when they're on, that kind of thing. So we don't pester you about anything else, just about the show, and you get this extra bonus content. So why not?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
coming up next week, Neil.
Next week, I mentioned it earlier. We've got Laura Capel-Abra on, and this is about how to grow your side hustle. So this is going to be a really fabulous show because, you know, me and Laura were talking. Laura's been on the show before. Laura's got a side hustle with Stress Matters and her other company, which is No More Ifs and Buts, which is like a coaching company. So she's the perfect person to talk about that. So it's going to be how to grow that, you know, what you can do to develop it, you know, why, if you're in a current job and you want to change, you know, these are the kind of things you can do. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it.
And I think I'm right in saying that Laura, this will make her the first person to come back for a second time on a completely different subject. We've had people that have done 2 shows where we've done 1 and part 2 of the masterclasses. But I think she's the first person to come back a second time with different content. You
know what? You're right. Yeah, and I love working with Laura. You know, I make no secret. You know, the Stress Matters are our well-being partner. You know, really glad that we talked about that with Jack today. It's something we take really seriously, and something that we're developing even more into a more regular, feature on the group. So watch the space for that. Yes. But as I say, this is slightly different. This is the other side of Laura's business, which is all about coaching. And Laura's fantastic. You know, we talk regularly, so I can't wait for that show. It's going to be really good, and I think it'll be really interesting to a lot of people as well. You know, it's good to know all these little things, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. But it is really important to point out that is not next Tuesday. That show is next Monday at 1:30 because I can't do Tuesday. So the show is next Monday, the 12th at 1:30. That's with Laura Capel-Abra talking about how to grow your side hustle. Neil, thank you very much for this week. It's been a great show, and I'm really glad we got a lot of love for Jack, a lot of love for the content in general. Seems to have been quite a nice, positive, uplifting one again.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, you know, all about positivity. So Thank you to you, Dom. Great job again. And hope you all have a good week, guys.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, we will say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next Monday, 1:30. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.